With GSP walking away recently, there's been a lot of talk about the pressure that champions have to face. What's this camp been like for you in your first camp as champ? Has it been any different? Have you felt those types of pressures?
You know, there's always pressures in every camp, but for this one, it's actually been a lot less. I just feel like I have a lot less on my plate this camp. A lot of things were going my way compared to the last one. The last one, you know, I was coming off the year layoff, 2 surgeries, Hurricane Sandy, and there was question marks in the back of my head. For this camp, there's 0 question marks, 0 reasons why I lose this fight, and I don't even have to even work on, you know, closing those doubts in my head. There is none.
The first fight, I think a lot of credit here. I think a lot of people, a lot of fighters who picked you to win that first fight thought that you would out-wrestle Anderson. We saw you have success with that in the first round, of course, where you knocked him out in the second. Did you see enough in that first round in terms of the wrestling game to let you know definitively what you think you can do with Anderson on the ground?
Yeah, you know, I feel like you know, my bread and butter, my biggest advantages in this fight is definitely the wrestling and jiu-jitsu, 100%. And I felt that in the first fight.
In the last fight, some people had questioned your ability of your conditioning to be able to go the full 5 rounds. How did you feel about that during this camp, and how hard did you work to be able to go full 5?
I think my cardio is probably one of the things that I've like, you know, the most pride about out of all the things that I have that I do in training. As my training partners, it's probably, I mean, that's not even a question. So I worked really hard for this camp, and conditioning is going to be one of my big advantages. No lack of motivation at all. You know, Anderson Silva is known as the greatest of all time. Going into the first fight, it was a dream come true to fight him, and a fight that I was dreaming about happening since I got into mixed martial arts. And I knew if I was to beat him, we were going to have a rematch, and here it is. So my dream's not complete, and I got to beat him on Saturday. And so no lack of motivation at all.
How do you think it's going to be different in this fight, in the mental part?
How do I think he's going to be different? That's a question for him. I have no idea. I have no idea, and I don't really care, to be honest. It's something. I got a lot to prove to myself. You know, obviously I have a lot of doubters out there, and you know, I'm never going to be done proving them wrong. There's always going to be plenty of doubters, but my goal is just, you know, to be the best of me out there, go out there, get a finish, and do it in a, you know, in an impressive fashion. You know, I just want to shine out there and show that this is my belt, and I'm going to be here for a long time.
You had practiced leading up to the first fight with guys dealing kind of, you know, messing with you, doing weird stuff, and putting their hands down. What did that mean, really? Can you go into a little bit of an explanation about that? What were like the focuses that you wanted to keep in mind? If Anderson starts doing this, I have to respond in this way.
You know, just, you know, I didn't want anything to happen for the first time inside the cage, so I just wanted some type of, you know, just get used to it a little bit. So when guys were doing that sparring, it helped me once I got to the 5 hands, you know, kind of prepare for that. Just having his hands down and working from there, keeping your mind right, and that was it.
What does it mean keeping your mind right? Because you said, you know, in that fight that you did, you got pissed off and you went after him and tried to knock him out.
It didn't work.
Was that actually like the reaction that you didn't want to happen going in there?
I don't know. Yeah, I did. I guess so. I guess you don't want to lose, you know, lose your head a little bit, and I did, and it worked out for me. So for this one, I don't really know. I'm just gonna be me. If I get pissed off, I guess I get pissed off. I don't know.
Chris, how does this one feel as opposed to the first one in the lead up? Is it still that me against the world type deal, or, you know, do you feel like, hey, I'm the champion, he's got to take this from me?
Kind of feels similar. You know, just a lot less stress in this camp. You know, the last camp was, you know, just trying to, you know, I was rehabbing my shoulder towards the beginning of it and trying not to get hurt. Just trying to, I know this is the biggest fight. It was going to be the biggest fight of my life, and I just couldn't get injured and get as much sparring as possible because I knew I was going to have to deal with some rust. It was just a lot of stress just to get all that off. And this fight was just less stressful with that. Just I went in there, I was able to, you know, kind of just work on new things instead of being so stressed on some of those other stuff. I don't know if I really answered your question. Alright.
Vitor, meu fã, super perto do Tarusha. Você está preparado para, quem sabe, vencer de todos eles se tornar o inimigo número 1 do Brasil?
Chris, besides Anderson,
I wanted to hear the answer to that. He was going to answer it. Impressive.
besides Anderson in the middleweight division, there's Lyoto Machida, there's Vitor Belfort, there's Jacare, there's a lot of guys in there. Are you ready to be maybe Brazil's #1 bad guy?
I'm ready. I know there's definitely a lot of angry Brazilians ready for me after this fight for sure, and I'm ready to take them on. Up Brazil.